When I entered the hellscape of Amber Lynn's channel to make a 2-hour special feature, I mentioned at the end that I was burned out on watching this train wreck, but that I would come back to it eventually and catch up on what's going on and talk about some stuff I missed after however long it takes to get over the burnout. This is a bigger train wreck than the fucking Batwoman series I started reviewing, and let me tell you, episode 2 is coming soon. Also, as far as my movie Bob video, I just wanted to update you that I have been given the book that I wanted to find last time, so thank you to the people who came through for me on Twitter for that. That's what I've been up to during the Amber Lynn burnout. 3 months. Turns out it was 3 months of burnout before I could actually get back into it, but unfortunately this train wreck pulls me in and I can't resist. During the pandemic, I've had ample time to put my favorite reaction channels back on in the background and catch up on the 3 months that I missed, and it was honestly a nice feeling. In a way. As much as it can be with Amber and Reid. But here is what we have to catch up on. Firstly, we're going to talk about the Amber space Lynn thing, then Vlogmas, then quitting Vlogmas, then some actually encouraging weight loss news, and then finally how it all went to shit, and comments on the pandemic from Amber Lynn. Also, I've been wanting to do some material studies because I haven't had that much experience with painting digitally, and I wanted to film it for an interesting visual because I enjoyed doing that a couple other times that I've done it before, but as you can see at the end, this is a disastrous attempt. I don't fucking know how to paint, and I'm trying to figure that out as I go, but I understand why experienced artists watching might just want to tear their hair out at how horrible it is, but I thought it was fun enough to include anyway, because don't we all love candles? So let's kick off with hashtags. As you know, they don't have spaces, and I'm sure most of the time people don't want to use dashes or underscores in a hashtag. So when Amber Lynn was trending as a hashtag, it was probably difficult to tell if it was one word or not for the people who don't know anything about this. There was a sex worker by the name of Amber Lynn with a space, like the space between Chantel's chins, and she got mad when she discovered Amber Lynn Reid, and her lawyer sent our girl a cease and desist. So Amber emailed Amber Lynn's lawyer for some reason instead of trying to get her own, which is odd because obviously the lawyer is going to tell you the side of the story that will make their client win and not necessarily something that's good for you, right? Amber was advised to drop the Lynn part because of this, so when you look at her channel you will see Amber Reid now. Amber was naturally upset, who wouldn't be? It's her name. And she was forced to change her name, and that's honestly bullshit. More on that bullshit, we've seen celebrities try to copyright a word before and most people don't seem to understand how this works. Firstly, when you want to copyright something in this context, you can only use it for the industry or the category you're in. For example, Amber Space Lynn can only do that to other porn stars so they can't use her name as their brand in that industry. She cannot do this to Amber Lynn Reid, who is a vlogger or e-celeb or whatever you want to call her. You could say that she's providing porn to feeders, but she's definitely not in that category in the business sense, like it's not listed. Even if it was like going on in the background in a sneaky way like we're all suspicious that she's doing with her deep throating of kebabs, it's still not something that you can technically do. The law is very specific. It can be really stupid sometimes, but it has to be specific, and she's a vlogger on YouTube versus a porn star. They're very different categories, so she can continue using this name, and I would highly advise her to at least contact a lawyer for herself so that she can make this known or find this out for herself. It is her right, and it sucks because it is her name. She's allowed to use it. Amber Lynn cannot control the name in this space, so I really hope Amber gets a lawyer, which she can afford to do so, she definitely can, to dispute this if need be. But then again, Amber is not exactly known for effort, even when it's something when she's in the right, the very few times that she's in the right. But I'm going to keep calling her Amber or Amber Lynn Reid because that's her fucking name, she has the right to use it. So now we move on to Vlogmas. For those of you who don't know, it's just the Christmas-December time of vlogging where they typically do it every day up until Christmas or something, like Vlogtober, which is for Halloween. I don't like vloggers, so those of you who don't as well might not be familiar with it either, but Amber starts out very excited. But the reason that she inevitably quits is because, as usual, she was called out for something that she said and made people upset. I want you to cast your minds back to November 12th of 2019, where she uploaded a video called Not Feeling Well. And then the other two that shortly followed called Emergency Room Visits, Something Is Wrong, and then My Diagnosis, respectively. What happened here is Amber was clickbaiting her emergency healthcare and hyping up the stuff that was wrong with her to the very, very last minute. And when we finally got that video, she told us that she was keeping it private because she has the right to keep it private, which she does, but obviously people are going to be peeved because she clickbaited and used their worry to get views. So in the Vlogmas Day one, there is a moment where she holds up Dayquil and says, "It was from the time I thought I was sick and went to the ER and they told me that nothing was wrong."
Dayquil and NyQuil. From when I thought I was sick, from when I was shivering and had a really high fever. You guys remember that when I went to the ER. Turns out I wasn't sick, but now I am, so hello.
So in the second video of the clickbait trilogy from November, she knew that she was fine, but she still made the third one and pretended that something was wrong anyway, I guess because she hyped it up so much. And in this clip from Vlogmas Day 1 that I just told you about, she confirms this, which shows she doesn't care about what anyone's worries about her really are. If you're still one of those people who thought that people didn't like her for her weight and purely for her weight, you'd be wrong in this. Anyway, the rest of Vlogmas Day 1 is her talking about her dinner recipe and trying to microwave a potato in plastic.
This is illegal, you know.
And the like and dislike ratio of the video is... wait, it's actually kinda good for Amber. Maybe it's because she's actually walking around and trying to eat things she didn't before that look a little bit more healthy. It actually looks a little encouraging, if not for the health exploitation bit. She then goes to film outside like a gang stalking channel and dances in the rain after doing the dishes because no one has done them for like a month, which I can't really imagine. Overall, she is moving quite a lot, and that's something that people have definitely noticed. She has a live stream on the 5th of December 2019, which is about an hour long. There is an upload on Aphrodite's Pizza channel, which I got this from, which is a godsend because I don't have Instagram and I don't want to go onto that hell site, so I appreciate it. I'm just going over some of the bare minimum stuff that she said. If you really want to watch the whole hour, just have a video game on or something because she's pretty insufferable. So firstly, the common thing that people will say that you'll come across with these Instagram live streams is that the Amber in this live stream is not the Amber in her videos, and that's pretty clear. She's obviously hyped up in a bitchy way in these, and then in her video she'll be like really sick and kind of like down, I don't know. She talks about My 600-Pound Life and says that apparently she wasn't a train wreck enough, that's what they told her, so they rejected her. And then she brings up this later and shit talks the Slayton sisters and says that they're trash and scammers.
Literally will not accept me. I would love to be on any type of like weight loss thing on TLC. Like hands down, like hook me up, please. I'd love it. I would literally love it. It would be fun. And I don't care about like, oh, you gotta do a shower scene. Like literally everyone like showers and everyone gets naked. I love a good dandruff in my hair. So it's definitely not about that. And who like recently, who knew the producer of like whatever, and the producer literally told her that I'm not like train wreck enough. And I was like...
She expresses frustration at people thinking that she's faking weigh-ins, once again, and she doesn't understand why people might form this conspiracy theory because of all of the other stuff that she's lied about. And then she talks about her and Beyonce for some reason. She freaks out and about being 29 and says that she still feels like she's 17, and she calls 40 being old. She then assures us that she is not a scammer and says that she only gave us the information from the GoFundMe because she believed that that information was true and that's what was told to her. She only gave us what was told to her. So she isn't saying that Norma, the person that the GoFundMe was benefiting, was being honest per se. She's kind of talking around it and saying that the GoFundMe was not a scam according to her own knowledge. And then she gives us a TMI about her irregular periods, which I'm mostly going to skip over, and I hope that you appreciate that.
You don't think that Aunt Irma is visiting us?
And then someone mentions Michael B. Petty in the chat, a reaction channel who calls her out. And she comments that he's been gaining weight according to her. She then says that she discovered Charlie Gold after being told to look Charlie up and says that Charlie is pretty, which she is, but also says that Charlie is gonna stay mad and haters gonna hate, which kinda makes what she said before sound a bit backhanded. But she also pretends that she isn't bothered by this when she clearly is. She goes on to say that reaction channels are horrible to her and everyone is fine with them being horrible to her, but when she claps back to defend herself, everyone calls her mean, and this isn't fair. She also does say that she likes kicking geese. The channel, not the activity. I assume that's not an activity. She doesn't deny trolling, she just dodges the question, and says that she was never super mature in the first place, but she can be if she needs to be, and says there's no reason for her to really be mature on her YouTube channel and never has been. So I guess the time that she used suicidal ideation to guilt her fans or accused her ex of rape in a slam poem, any of those times weren't mature. She also comments that she exchanges messages here and there with Chantal, although she seems uncomfortable bringing it up. I never mentioned this as much as I wanted to, but it seems like Chantal Foodie Beauty, who I haven't really talked about that much, but I suppose the time will come, always mentioned Amber Lynn and always brings her up when making videos on her getting hate. And Amber Lynn, in return, doesn't really seem to do that much at all. It seems like she doesn't really want to be brought up that much in line with Chantal. That's just odd. She goes on a massive rant at people calling her a transphobe for misgendering Casey, her ex, who she accused, and finally admits that she did once misgender him, but acts like it was 7 years ago and not the numerous times that she actually did quite recently. Doesn't say Casey's name, of course, but she also says, if this shit happens again, I can pop off with something, which sounds very ominous and slightly unintelligible. She again says that other YouTubers do bad things, but people love them and people hate her for no reason. Again, she keeps comparing herself to other YouTubers. She also calls reaction channels basement dwellers, and then claims that she has changed so much in 3 weeks because that's possible to do and made a lot of progress. She claimed that 8 months ago she was lying in bed and eating fast food every single day without getting up or doing anything else. Yet 8 months ago she was denying that she did that, so that's a bit interesting. And then she says that we wouldn't know because we don't live with her, even though she plasters all of this online anyway. She feels good because she's walking now, which is great, and finally gives us a lesson about her university life. She went to college for criminal justice for 1.5 years and moved across the country to get away from a relationship that was abusive, and decided that she didn't want to continue studying. But she said it was one of the best experiences of her life.
And honestly, it was one of the best experiences that I honestly have experienced.
Moving on to Vlogmas Day 2, she has a grocery haul for us and says that she's mad at herself for not taking the NyQuil, and then goes to get sushi, which does look healthier than the other time when it was very deep fried. She completely forgot about reusable makeup wipes that she had prior, even though when she made this massive speech about eco-friendly shit and how makeup wipes clog the environment so we need to use reusable ones, and it was like a whole big deal. She's just using makeup wipes again. She also does this lovely fridge skit.
Hello? What are you guys doing in my fridge? What? No. The grocery haul happens outside of the fridge. Okay, that was cringy.
Vlogmas 3, she says that she doesn't like the Christmas tree and gets a gross laughing cow cheese meal that, okay, you eat that. And then shows Eric and Ricky's closet for some reason. I bet they enjoyed that. She then mentions that she has a new doctor, again, because the last one had to go. On the 4th day, she makes a fucking gross soup, and there's a toilet hole, and then she informs us ignorant masses that you should not take NyQuil every night because it's bad. Thank you. She is thankfully taking Wasabi the cat to get groomed, but she goes to Walmart and finds a worm in the broccoli, and then she makes such a big deal about it, naturally, but she just puts it back down so another poor customer can buy it instead of notifying the staff. On the 5th day she goes shopping, talks about concealer for way too long, and we see Becky. There was once this doctor that Amber once had who had asked her to join in this office weight loss competition with the other staff, and Amber had mentioned it at the time, but she never actually did it or mentioned it afterwards. And now she says that this doctor that mentioned that to her was not good because the doctor didn't take Amber's medical condition seriously at all, and that's why the doctor had to go. She also says that she doesn't know what UFO means, and I am unjustifiably fucking offended about that. She goes to touch everything in TJ Maxx. Now, we don't have TJ Maxx over here, so I kind of know what the store is from looking at it from her vlogs, but I'm not entirely sure. It looks kind of like a dollar store to me. She goes and touches it with her gross meat claws so she can spread germs to everyone else. She doesn't buy any of it, but says that she has the money for it. Thank you for flexing that you have money on something that I'm pretty sure is a dollar store. On the 6th day, she meal preps chicken and gets lip gloss that is clear from Amazon. Rarity the cat breaks the Christmas tree somehow, and Amber gets a Torrid VIP card, which really tells you how much she buys and doesn't wear. Puts that into perspective. She also gets another Weight Watchers charm. On the 7th day, she apologized for the comment she made about Michael, and apparently everything is fine with that. On the 8th day, Charlie Gold does a live stream with rules for a weight loss competition that she wants Amber to participate in. The rules are also below in the description and clearly explained, and it was to encourage Amber to prove that she's not actually in the cycle anymore, and generally try to get something going. Just try to get Amber to stick to weight loss and try to make it like a fun thing. But Amber never replied to it, so it never went anywhere. Now that you know the general idea where she went with Vlogmas, we can go into events and not through every other day because there's nothing really interesting that happened. Firstly, in one of the videos, Twinkie is shaking and really fucking sick, but Amber did not take her to the vet. The reason? Because there were no vets near her, she claimed, but people online looked up the vets in the area and found many near Amber, so the story then changed to her calling the vets and them telling her to keep Twinkie at home and give the dog aspirin. But in the next part of the video she went to Chili's, eating, of course, and people found out that one of the vets was extremely close to Chili's, which showed that she drove out to eat but not take care of her sick dog. Then again, this is also reminiscent of the time when Becky was having family emergency issues, and Amber decided to stay at home putting on unicorn makeup instead of going out with her. But she also used to drive a very far distance to go eat orange chicken, so I'm not surprised. I've never had orange chicken, I don't know if I ever will at this point because of the amount of times that I will associate it with Amber. On the non-YouTube side of things, Casey did an AMA on Reddit, but it didn't really go anywhere because he was kind of unprepared for the amount of people asking about Amber, and he doesn't keep up with her online, understandably, so he didn't really know what to say, but I do hope he's doing well. Throughout the entirety of Vlogmas, she had some medical issues going on in the background, and finally tells us what they were through the last leg of Vlogmas. She claims she has cellulitis from stubbing her toe and a bladder infection, which I assume isn't from stubbing her toe, which she has been trying to contact the doctor about but it's not working out, specifically the urologist, which she then in the coming vlogs actually films herself trying to contact them. On day 21, she says that she couldn't get in touch with them and they're closed for the holidays, so all they got was the voicemail that was playing, and this voicemail is incredibly strange.
Our normal business hours are Monday through Friday from 8 to 4:30 p.m. We are currently closed for the holiday and will not be here to take any calls. Please do not leave a message.
Recall.
People immediately picked up the strangeness as the fact that they didn't want people to leave voicemails or contact other doctors on call, despite the fact that they're a urologist's office and it could very well be an emergency. And then someone said that the voice sounded like Becky. That's getting into conspiracy theory territory, but the fact that so many people are like constantly dipping in between conspiracy theories and what's actually happening just shows the madness that is Amberland. Amber did not acknowledge many of these concerns at all, and yet on the 22nd day she calls the urologist back and gets another voicemail that has curiously been fixed of all of these issues, like they're saying leave a voicemail, contact another doctor on call, and all of these other things that they should have said.
Urology Associates. Normal business hours Monday through Friday from 8 a.m. to 4:30. We are currently closed. If this is a urological emergency, please call for the doctor on call.
On the 23rd day we get our very last day of Vlogmas for her, with a video called Seriously? Where Amber doxes the office of the urologist, indicating location, picture, phone, and every other piece of information, very displayed on screen, and it was all purposely done so that you could see that this was a real place and all of the information was given to you. It wasn't an accident. She deleted it 2 hours later, presumably because people were calling out for doxing someone, and then she makes a community tab post about ending Vlogmas. She does say that she was enjoying herself and needs to take responsibility and end it, but doesn't specifically say what she's taking responsibility for, so, you know. But she also says that she will cease using any sort of social media unless it's Snapchat. Just for now. After the Vlogmas fiasco, we get a Q&A where there isn't much to really care about, but a few things that were odd to me. And there is some dark shit in here. She does talk about some like grim shit in her life, so if you want to skip it, you can. Just skip like a minute, I guess. Firstly, she has theories about the flat earth.
Do you believe that the earth is spherical?
You can show me.
And then she says that she believes in chemtrails. This is something that I never mentioned before because I didn't actually know, but apparently she does believe in chemtrails. She'll post Snapchats about they are in the sky all the time. It's just like, cloud disappear, cloud disappear. I don't know what the fuck is happening. She also suddenly starts talking about self-harm and her experiences of inpatient treatment and how it was really dark for her. And it was weird because she clearly pre-picked her comments and she acts like they're randomized as per usual, but it's just, the thing is, she and Chantel Murray are both in a very progressive community, let's say, and while someone like me might not necessarily put trigger warnings up for everything or might use language a bit more offensively in some cases, I'm not pretending to be a part of that community. It's just something that I'm not, but somebody who is a part of it. It's kind of like how makeup communities always have big dramas about stuff and then some other people just don't really give a shit about the stuff that's apparently a big deal. Like somebody says something offensive and then, you know, you get people going, how is this offensive? And the makeup community to them it's offensive, you know what I mean? Like that there are different uses of language in different communities. So she obviously has tried to at least appear like she's in one of these progressive communities, and these communities value trigger warnings very, very much. It is her responsibility to put one of those in there, especially because she wants them from other people. So when she chooses to randomly bring up a really grim subject, she doesn't put like a warning there for people when she knows that they would need it from her, is very irresponsible. Especially someone who's also complained about like mental health awareness and everything, and like how she has such a stigma against her because she's fat and like privilege and all that sort of stuff. Very progressive subjects, yet she doesn't really play by those rules. She wants other people to do that so that she can get the benefit, but she doesn't want to give the benefit to them. I'm sorry, I went off in a bit of a rant there, but it's just a very curious thing that I've noticed with these people, and it's annoying. If you're a part of this community and you expect them to respect their rules in regards to how that benefits you, you better respect their rules as well. And with this dark comment, she also refuses to address the suicide video that she made that was basically clickbaiting suicide, yet, you know, whatever. She also denies trolling and baiting, and yet again compares herself to other YouTubers. She avoids the topic of whether or not she has any healthcare, but she also picked the question in the first place, so why did you pick it if you're going to dodge the question? But she also talks about how she feared that Becky being on medication would take Becky away and make her a zombie, but now that Becky is off the medication, she's back, and I understand the concern, but it's also pretty shitty if you mention this about Becky but you didn't tell her you'd be mentioning this. Becky is not the one with the vlogging career, so I still think you should ask permission when you talk about her. Then again, I as mentioned before, I don't like vloggers, so maybe this is like a thing that they do that I'm overstepping or overreacting to. We also get an Instagram Q&A across a couple days from the 20th to 25th of January, and she says some dumb things again. Firstly, she says that she is above the cruelty and hate, and mentions Becky's medication once again. She wishes reaction channels would let her finish a sentence before they respond, which I counter by saying that most of them do, all of the ones that I watch do, and maybe if she finished her own damn sentences before stuffing her face, maybe it wouldn't be so annoying. She also doesn't believe she lied or manipulated anyone in the first place, so when someone asks her to apologize, she says that she won't. Her goal of 2020 is to not give a fuck about what others think, and she is not interested in talking to reaction channels at all because she says that they're in it to believe what they want to believe, and they don't want to believe anything that she might say to counter. Which, again, I counter by saying that if you have an idea and you want people who disagree with you to understand it, actually addressing what they're saying and laying it all out is the best way to do it. And if you had a chance to personally talk to them and say, hey, you're wrong and here's why, you can actually properly do that. Talking to them is the best way to set the record straight, but I don't know, your call. People always tell her that if she's really stressed out, she can quit YouTube for a while. She can afford doing that. But she says that she can't do that because of stress, because if everyone quit their jobs because of stress, no one would have a job. Which is a really stupid statement, equating— I know that some YouTubers put a lot of effort into what they're doing, but you don't. There's some research that goes into these because it's fun, but equating it to someone with an office job is so asinine. Even from my hobbyist perspective, she's doing it as a career, but she's doing less than me. That's just ridiculous. But in another question, when someone calls her out on this really stupid statement, she claims that this is just YouTube and this isn't a job and this isn't serious and blah blah blah, which is a direct contradiction to what she said, but she doesn't admit that as a contradiction and continues arguing with people about it, claiming that she said something that she didn't. Someone also brings up that she once admitted that she hid in the bathroom to skip work when she had a proper job, and she denies this now and says that it was actually for anxiety attacks, even though that's a lie. On January 26th, she premiered a video called My First Weigh-In of 2020. Now, if you don't know, imagine premiering is like a live stream, but the stuff is pre-recorded, so it's like a video, but you have a live chat and you can't skip it. And then afterwards the video is just viewed normally. So it's her talking for a long time, and she finally does the weigh-in and reveals that she lost 53 lbs, as she says. She says that she was talking so much because she wanted people to focus on what she was saying instead of just skipping to the weigh-in at the very end. The video like and dislike ratio is 11 up to 4K down, which is very good for Amber. People were really suspicious, even though they were supportive as well of her weight loss, because she had hyped up this video and premiered it to such an extent that it was such a big deal, and it came across as very smug. She followed this video up with a full body shot, 519 pounds, and this dislike ratio is divided because she's uploading these side-by-side shots and making a really big deal about it, which it might be exciting, but it's coming across in more of a I told you so kind of way rather than a I'm excited about my weight loss kind of way. So in a video, she continuously says that this is not a weight loss channel, yet she's doing weight loss things, and she also says that she premiered the video so that she could not have people skip what she was saying, when in reality, as Charlie Gold says, she was just fishing for support and smugly wanted to see people's reactions when she proved them all wrong and actually lost weight. This was very calculated.
So she premieres a video that's really edited the same way. It's not even, I don't know the purpose of premiere. I thought it was for like bigger projects. Maybe I'm wrong. I could be completely wrong on that. But she premieres a video where she can first watch all the negativity coming in because no one could really gauge where this was going, and then watch from there all the praise. So again, yes, she's claiming she wants to step back and really get validation from herself, but the way she presented this shows the complete opposite. Lynn completely wants validation from everyone. Lynn completely wants everyone to say, we were wrong, we support you, we can't wait to see what's next. Lynn completely wants to hear everyone, you know, licking her ass, saying how much she inspires them and all these. Lynn wants all that. That's why this was presented that way. That's why I can't respect this chick. At least be honest. At least be honest and say, listen, I did this way so I could watch everyone's reaction, so I can read everyone's reaction in real time, and I could, you know, get more views from it because I know the reaction channels are going to jump on this. Be real for once. Again, the real Lynn is coming. Every 50 pounds that this girl drops, the real Lynn is going to show more and more.
She opens by saying that for the past few months she was on this service called Freshly that cooks you food and sends it to you on a plan, and she used it for portion control and to eat better. Now this immediately brings up the question of how much of her weight loss was because of Freshly, but we didn't get an answer to that. She says that she has a discount code and she talks about how amazing it was, but then it cuts to the next day and she says that she quit it. She says the reason for this is because she wanted to learn portion control by herself and how to cook more by herself because a friend of hers was doing really well cooking for herself, so she wants to try that. Despite the fact that she could easily still cook and do Freshly on a different plan, many people pointed out that this is Octavia and Weight Watchers 2.0, where she spends a lot of money on something and then decides that she doesn't want it anymore, and the only difference being that this one was actually used for a longer period of time before she gave up, but she still advertised it to us and then immediately says that she didn't want to use it anymore. Now, Freshly seems to have actually worked. I've never used a service like this before, so I'm not going to comment on how much it might work for you. I guess that's up to you to talk about, but I will say that the other two were definitely multi-level marketing schemes and scams, but Freshly doesn't seem to be. She also mentions that she wants to leave the house more because she is scared of the pandemic, and you should follow her Instagram weight loss account that she barely posts on. She shills this annoying account so many times. I don't know what the fuck pineapple pin-up means. She never explains it. It's a fucking weird name. Just link it. Don't talk about it all the time, just link it. That's what the description is for. Then we get this motherload of a video, the Sims cheat code for free money of a video called Denial and Delusions. People were fucking hyped for this video because it really looked like she was going to finally acknowledge everything, and she never really used words like that before. However, we didn't get that. This is a direct response to a video by Cherryberry Weight Loss, whom Amber never really names in her video despite it being a direct response. Cherry has been doing ALR content and her own weight loss on her channel for quite a while now, and Amber says that she originally found Cherry and loved her weight loss, but then makes it sound like all of a sudden Cherry started doing Amberlynn content when it's been going on for a while. Amber got very hurt by this content because she loved Cherry so much and she had to do this response. Cherry's video was just a critical look at the one video, I think it's called Everything I've Lied About or something, where Amber goes, "This is so raw guys, fuck." You might know that clip. And there was a lot to criticize, but Amber basically denies a lot of stuff, and I think the video being called Denial and Delusion is a good thing because of the amount that's being done here. But after the video, Amber claimed that everyone is just twisting her words and denied doing anything wrong. She even tells us you need to understand that being this weight is not healthy, as if we don't know that, but she also says that people criticizing other people's weight is bad because we live in a society.
But it also is frustrating that people have to point that out, because it's like, when have we become so shallow or even just so cruel to comment on a person's insecurity, whether it be, oh my god, look at her skin color, she looks disgusting, or oh my god, look at her skin color, she's killing herself. Like, either way, I just feel like it's really rude, and I know it's not going to stop, but you guys have to realize, obviously, I'm going to look kind of rough. So, I don't mean to start the video off in like a negative
Seriously,
way.
and I could respond so negatively, but and I'm going to choose to do that. So she's like, when have we become this, I guess, society that comments on these things? When have we become adults who falsely accuse people of online?
She acts like no one is letting her be happy and she is a victim, and then says that she wanted to actually lose the weight before making a video, so it didn't end up being like a 5-pound weight loss thing and she actually does lose weight, which is a good idea, and she acknowledges this. But it comes across as the thing that I mentioned Charlie Gold said before, like she really wants praise. She does deserve praise for the weight loss, but still she'll get criticized because of everything else. She says that when she is losing weight, she's focusing on why she chose Cheetos over carrots and not necessarily stopping the Cheetos. And says that she is allowing herself to have them and not cutting them out entirely, although she was eating less of them. She says that people are always telling her that she needs to explain herself less, and she shouldn't always try and justify everything, but that she, Amber, must do this because she's just like this, even though she never really explains anything. She is definitely not the same person she is in her live stream. I'm gonna point out something else that Charlie said. Charlie's just very articulate, which is something about Amber wanting stans who will focus on the weight loss and nothing else and criticize those who criticize her. That's what Amber wants.
Building up, a bigger support system when it comes to the people on YouTube and her viewers and things like that. And in a way, I feel like Lynn wants to build stands. She wants to build a bigger support system to fight off the people who are holding her accountable, especially for her past.
Amber talks about how this is about finding self-love, which can be true, and says that she gets upset when people say she fakes her way-ins once again, and doesn't acknowledge why. And she's frustrated because she thinks that there are only 2 types of content that she can do, which is vlogs and mukbangs, and she kind of flip-flops on whether or not those types of content actually help her. She kind of hefts all of her problems onto her audience, and then fishes for compliments more by saying that she didn't do good for losing 50 pounds, and knowing that people will tell her that she did do good for losing 50 pounds. And then she uses the video as a way to garner support for later on, and says that she's working on building trust again. In the next video, she is back on Freshly because of the Backlash, and has some new things to say. She contradicts why she quit, and her new reason for why she quit is that it's our fault. This video is just 50% chewing and silence. She plugs her Instagram and says that if they want 40% off Freshly, they should message her on Instagram so she can give them the code. And this is incredibly shady because it seems like she's just getting around having to disclose sponsorships by saying that the sponsorship is technically not happening on here but on Instagram, but she's still calling traffic to the place that does do the sponsorship, so I would think that a disclosure is still in place, right? Something seems illegal here. She also calls her audience repulsive and then says eating on camera is bad for her but it's good for her, and then it's bad for her again. It always changes. But she also just makes a bunch of excuses and doesn't understand the backlash it got. Then she does a video in February where she says that she wants people to know that she was listening to you about wanting the vlogs back, so they're back. She goes to the store and touches everything, and flexes her makeup collection. She says that she wanted our input on the mukbangs, and the reason that she stopped doing them, regardless of the fact that they might be helpful, is because we didn't want her to see it. So it was kind of like she was pushing her problems onto us. When she inevitably comes back with the mukbangs, she'll say that we were the ones who told her not to do it in the first place, and that's why she got stressed out or something or other. At the start of March, after all this time saying that weigh-ins didn't actually help her, she starts a weekly weigh-in Wednesday, and keeps it up as far as the time of recording this at least, where she has managed to lose 70 pounds in total, which is very good, and she does deserve the happiness for that. However, not all of it is good that follows. On the 27th of March, she uploaded a vlog that got the really big dislike ratio back again, that pretty much undid all of the progress with the like ratio. It's just fucked again. She shows us her freezer and all of the food that she has been hoarding, and she openly encourages people to panic buy during the pandemic because you need to get as much as you can, according to her. Well done, Amber, you fucked it. She also realizes that the fucking freezer was unplugged the entire time, so I have no idea how much of their food is even salvageable. And then just as I was finishing up researching this, she made another video about her update on the weigh-in on the 2nd of April, about how her weight loss is slowing down and she has some issues and is very worried about the virus. She talks an incredible amount about the virus and says that knowledge is power despite her anxiety, so she must keep looking. despite the fact that she doesn't want to look at updates about the virus. Ricky's work has 2 cases and it worries her greatly. And one thing that you'll notice throughout this video is she spends an incredibly long time talking about this virus because she's setting it up to use it as an excuse for why she hasn't been losing weight. I know that sounds kind of weird to say because everyone is scared around this time, but what I'm pointing out is that yes, she is allowed to be anxious, but the way that she is using her anxiety in this sort of exaggerated way is very distasteful for the current situation. It does come across as very distasteful the more we go on. It ends up sounding like she's blaming this for her anxiety, in turn blaming her anxiety on the fact that she's not losing weight because she needs to focus on the virus. She outright says this.
So small. It's like almost as if nothing else matters to me besides making sure that me and the people around me are okay. I have put myself, meaning, you know, trying to focus on weight loss on the back burner. I have put YouTube on the back burner. I have put everything because everything else seems so small and just like it don't matter anymore. This is completely took me just in a really bad place. And
it's distasteful because she wasn't caring about touching everything in the store or buying food that she doesn't need that another family could need, but she's just taking it anyway. And talking about how people are being forced to stay at home with the police getting involved and like all of these things, and then using it for an excuse for why she has gained a pound. Again, it's a worrying time, and I'm not taking away her worry, but she's using it in a very distasteful way. People have lost loved ones and everything, and she's using it for a YouTube game. So it is an excuse, because we get this bombshell that she is not looking at calories, even though she did stop binging, so I guess that's progress. And she says she's having 4 servings of rice in soy sauce with a turkey burger for her big meal of the day every day as a diet. This is a diet for her. She also says that as a snack she has a bowl of cereal and a TV dinner, and claims that all of that with the rice together is less than 2,000 calories, so it's okay. Again, this is all because of the virus. Then she makes more excuses and fakes accountability by talking about the fact that she is making excuses, and she acts like she's self-aware, but she won't do anything about it. But the talking scale is back, and she has gained 1.6 pounds, which is whatever. So I do think that the smaller gain in comparison to when she has put all of her weight back on before is the smaller gain is good. However, it's not good for Amber because I feel like it would encourage her to keep binging, because all she would say is, it's going to be a small amount this time, so it's okay if I eat a little bit, because it's not like I'm going to do the big gain again. It's just going to be like 1 pound, which will in turn make her eat more, and then it'll end up being like a bigger gain. I'm just going off of like the history of Amber. I'm not trying to be like an armchair psychologist, but that's why I think it's an issue. The very last thing that I want to talk about is the bowling ball post, because this is some of the shit I gotta get your opinion on. In this, she's doing another Instagram Q&A, and there was a post floating around after the Q&A where she apparently was asked, why do you always wait until the last minute to go to the doctor? To which she replies a segment from a Howard Stern movie script, word for word, about child abuse, saying that she was picked up like a bowling ball. Now, there is only one screenshot of this at the time that people started talking about it, so people freaked out and started speculating about whether it was real or not. But they looked at her account and it was deleted if it ever was there in the first place. And it also said ask instead of ask, which I guess is a detail. Now, people were speculating about whether or not it's fake. They were saying that they personally saw the post, or that they never saw it and it wouldn't sound like something she would do because she doesn't seem like the type of person to watch Howard Stern or whatever else. So my input is I think it's fake, because it does sound like something that Amber would have to go out of her way to do, find something by Howard Stern. She doesn't seem like that kind of person. And there was only one screenshot. Even though some people are saying they saw it, more people are saying that they aren't, and the people who are saying they saw it aren't in the same consensus as they would be normally with these sorts of things. What I mean by that is a comparison to something that Aphrodite Peach brought up ages ago about a tweet that she saw called something about eye to eye, and the tweet was deleted before she had a chance to look at it, but she remembered Amber tweeting it. The amount of people who said that they also saw it, it was a huge thing. There are many people talking about this, and everybody came together with this consistency where they were all able to talk about it in the same way. In this instance, we don't get that at all. It's very spotty at best, and a lot of people are saying that they archive all of her Instagram Q&As directly as she's doing them, which is like a couple seconds after she posts each thing, they take a screenshot and they never saw that post. So because of how spotty and unreliable all of this is, I am going to say that it's not real, especially It is interesting that in this community, Amber is such an interesting person that we actually have to have this conversation instead of just brushing it off as something ridiculous, but I'd rather brush it off as something ridiculous than start believing in all of these things when there isn't direct evidence, because I think that the minute that you do that, you start letting go of the actual concerns and you give her more of an excuse to not listen to the actual concerns by saying that all people do is speculate and then pointing out the speculations like the bowling ball post. Now, with that large spiel out of the way on my end, I want to know if you've personally seen it and what case you have for it being real if you do believe so. And with that, my very rushed update on the whole Amber Lynn thing is out of the way. If she uploads at this point, I won't have time to look at it, so I might have to just wait. I'm just gonna keep waiting, not necessarily like a month each time, it might be more each time, just to see if there's anything worth talking about, because I do think that it's very interesting to continue on. And the one problem with the documentary was that I didn't have enough time, so I figured doing that in the installments in this way and that kind of thing in this way is a lot more freeing. If I ever got to talking about Chantal, the way that I would be doing it would be in installments, because there's so much with her. I feel like there's so much that I need to cover with her that I wouldn't be able to do it in a small amount of time, but I'm done rambling. Look at my shitty candle. Bye.